Ryan, have you ever thought about being an architect?
Have you ever thought about being a truck driver?
Have you ever thought about being a salesperson?
What about something in the medical field?
Realtor? Listen to Career Paths every Thursday
Wherever you listen to podcasts,
and on YouTube. You might learn something.
you might not.
It's your life. Make it happen.
Memories fading, we all forget those not so shiny things you do.
Career Paths. Of course you did. Of course you
Alright.
did. All right, let's make it. Say make it. I threw yours over there. You were flipping earlier. Wow.
Yeah.
You're practicing? Obviously.
That was just one of those days where I just want
Yeah.
to wing some stuff.
Welcome to Career Paths. I'm your host, Victor Boudreau, with your ever troublemaking co-host, hostess with the mostest, Mr. Ryan King. Ryan,
Hey,
hey, what's up?
how's it going?
It's been a while since we've done an in-house interview. We've been doing these online.
I know.
So, what is this something I said? Yeah, thank you.
It was, yeah.
Oh, get out of here. Oh, you're back. That was quick. Our guest and our coming back for an update interview, Tim Campbell. Tim, how you doing, man?
Not too bad.
Great.
How are you guys doing?
I'm doing
Good.
great. Thank you for coming back on. I know
Yeah.
your schedule is really packed these days.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Crazy.
That's
Just
sarcasm.
busy all the time.
So, Tim, we'll get into what's new with the career, but how's life in general? Wife and kids doing well?
Yeah. Everyone's good. My son is a sixth grader at Mountainside Middle School, and he just got done with basketball a couple of weeks ago, and is playing trombone in the band. My daughter is a freshman at Mount Spokane. She plays flute and oboe in the band there.
Maybe a flautist?
Marching season. Yep. That's my wife played the flute
Okay.
as well, and
I was in high school band too.
I
I was too.
that doesn't surprise me.
You were?
Yeah.
What did you do in high school band?
Well, I started trying to learn the saxophone, and
Really?
then
In
got
high school?
caught. Yeah, got caught without a reed in, so they moved me back to bass drum, and
Huh.
I mostly did it because at the time I had a girlfriend that was in band.
Uh-huh.
Plus, it was time to go and do the parade, so you got out of school a lot.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
I did not know that about you,
Yeah.
Mr. King. Wow.
Big bass drum.
I know you played drums later on in life, out of high school and stuff. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tim,
Yes.
how you doing?
Good.
So
Just cut it down.
Tim, when you're on the show, how long has it been? Like a year or something like that?
Oh
Give or
man,
take?
yeah. Well, we were still living in the smaller house on the
Yeah, yeah.
property.
See,
So that would have had to have been late spring, early summer of 2020, 2019, 2020.
Okay, so it's been over. It's almost been.
Yeah, 2020 it would have been, I
Wow.
think. So
You're one of our earliest guests.
yeah, I think
Nice,
so.
Yeah.
awesome. I just know well because we've known each other for years now,
Yeah.
and I know that situation changed too.
Yes.
It's completely gone.
Yes, it is.
So-
Yeah.
And then we're talking about church. I actually was in the church band,
Yeah.
and that's where I met you.
Yeah.
So update. Where were you working when we interviewed you? What were you doing? And because things have changed, so what were you doing?
Yeah. So when we last did the interview, I was just a few months into my job as the membership director
That's right.
at
That's right.
the YMCA out in the Valley.
Yep.
So I was in charge of kind of all things membership as well
Yeah.
as supervising the
I
staff.
do remember the
and-
YMCA. I did tell Ryan. I go, do you remember? Oh yeah.
Yep. Yep. So I
So-
was doing that.
Yeah. So how's that going today?
That's a great question. We'd have to probably contact my former boss and ask her
Uh-huh.
because she's the one doing it now.
Nice.
Um,
Now we've talked about that, and that's one reason I wanted you on the show again. Besides just in general, we do an update interviews. So right now, did you leave that position or were you let go?
I left.
Okay,
So,
that's fine.
yeah, it was kind of decision made late August, and then made it all formal and final early September. Gave them several weeks notice. So I ended up finishing my position there on September 30th of 2021, and have not been employed since then.
So
actually.
5 or 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So, and what? I guess these cards don't even really, for the
Oh,
most
mine
part.
do.
Okay.
So how and why did you become interested in being unemployed?
That's a great question.
And where did you go for more info?
For more info, I actually did a lot of research on the internet on how to quit your job. No, so actually why I became interested though in being unemployed is because of my family. End of the day, I'd been a stay-at-home dad for 8.5 years prior to working for the Y. Had started off working very part-time, 9 hours a week, something like that. And it slowly progressed into more and more until I was full-time doing the membership director position. And my wife and I just had a good, honest conversation while we were on vacation in August. And I was like, this sucks. Like, I love my job. I love the people I work with. There wasn't anything job-wise that I didn't like. But I felt like I saw my wife 3 hours a week and my kids maybe 5 hours a week. And it was realistically a little bit more than that probably, but it just didn't feel like it. Didn't feel like I was seeing them and I had any idea what's going on in their life. And from being the stay-at-home parent and knowing literally everything about your children to feeling like, whoa, who's that friend and where did you meet them and what's going on? It was a real hard, even though it was a slow transition, it was still very difficult for me. And we're in a spot financially where it was okay for me not to work and we've done all right. And so I quit.
So did someone inspire or help guide you?
Yeah, that would be my wife. Very inspiring when she says, yeah, I definitely don't see you enough. Quit. Like, that's all the inspiration I need.
The wife actually said she hadn't seen you enough.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I was feeling that way and you know, kind of brought it up with her and she kind of brought it up with me. And it was a conversation for actually several months.
Right.
Where we would just casually mention it, but nothing would really come of it.
Sure.
And then when we honestly talked, she was kind of the driving force that was like, yeah, go for it.
And now, your wife is, what does she do for a career?
So she's a nurse up at Sacred Heart.
So,
she's the assistant nurse manager, which basically means the charge nurse Monday through Friday on the night shift on the pulmonary respiratory floor, which for the last 2 years has basically just been a COVID floor.
Yeah. And that being said, just let's clarify, it's not like this is the decision was made financially where you guys are not paying bills, you're not taking the responsibility to do it, because the income can cover what you need to cover and the responsibilities are there. It got to the point where you didn't need to, it wasn't a financial thing where you had to work at any point.
Financially, if you look at it, actually financially, we have lower bills overall because our mortgage is less, car payments are less.
You've made decisions.
Other debts have been paid down, you know, and things. So our total bills, our total monthly expenses are less than they are now than they were when I was a stay-at-home dad. And I, like I said, did that for 8.5 years. And my wife makes
decent money.
You know, yeah, much more than she made back then at that time. So if we could survive those 8.5 years without an issue, no reason we have any issues now.
You guys still get along?
Yeah,
you and the wife?
Yeah, surprisingly, she still puts up with me. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm not going to complain.
I like your wife, and I don't get what I think she's pretty smart, so I'm not really sure.
I always thought she was too, but I tell people she's run like 2 full marathons and 3 half marathons, and she's stuck with me for now almost 18 years. It'll be 18
That's
years
a hell
in
of a
May.
marathon.
So you know she has poor decision making skills. She has terrible judgment. But you know,
Your wife's name again?
Carrie.
Carrie.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I saw her. I'll send her some flowers and sympathy.
Yeah, she
Sorry,
could use
Carrie.
it. She could use it.
She knows you were here, right?
Yeah.
Of course she knows. You when you go see her, you gotta tell her I want her on the show because
I've talked to her a couple times.
she's still a little skeptical, isn't she?
Yeah, she's just nervous about doing things like this. I told her I'd be right down here, you know, sitting in the background the whole time or whatever.
Yeah. Tell her make fun of me. I don't make fun of her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see. That
Ryan
might push her over the edge.
I
So
tried to get a couple other nurses on that.
Especially
They're all skeptical about coming on the show with us.
she's just nervous about an interview of any kind.
Sure.
Really.
If they don't do it, they don't understand. You know.
Yeah.
They assume it's Put them in something that they're not used to. They're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Ryan, you got all the questions today.
I do. So, what's the biggest misconception the general public has about being unemployed, and how do you change that?
Boy, that's a good question, because I would say the biggest misconception is they just think if you're unemployed, you're a bum. But I'm kind of a bum right now. So I'm just lounging around, not doing much. So
You get it with the kids.
kind of true.
You get it with kids. So your wife works nights.
Yes, so she works nights. One of the nice things that's been with this is, especially with the activities my daughter's involved in and things they involve going to pick her up from school at kind of weird hours and stuff. My wife goes to bed at 6:30 in the evening to get a couple extra hours of sleep before she gets up and goes to work. And then she sleeps in the day, usually until, 1 o'clock or so in the afternoon when she gets home. And before, if the kids had appointments or had things like that, she would be the one doing it because I'm working, 9 to 5 or 6, depending on the day. And now I can do all that stuff and allow her to continue to get good, consistent sleep and take care of some of those things.
Wow, she's just kind of smart. Make him do this.
Yeah. Plus, she's not a big fan of driving all the time.
Yeah.
And it's a solid 20-25 minute drive to get anywhere in the town from where we live.
Yeah.
Right.
And I like to drive.
Yeah.
So, works out.
So how many careers/jobs have you had?
Oh man, that's a good question. I started out in fast food working at Arby's. I worked with my dad at a trucking company, working on the docks, loading trucks when I was in high school a little bit too. Worked at Safeway for a little bit.
Grocery store?
Yep. Worked at Gart Sports, which, some of the younger viewers are going to have no idea what that is because it's not even a company anymore. But it was a sporting goods store back in the day.
Honestly, I'd forgotten all about them until you said it. I'm like, oh, wait, I remember that.
Yeah, it was like Gart, and then it was Sports Authority, and now they're just totally debunked. And I worked for the school district for a little bit, doing before and after school stuff with grade school, preschool age kids. And then I was...
Were your kids...
No, that was before. That was before. I started that before I got married. During that time I got married, when my daughter was born, I quit that job to be a stay-at-home dad. And I didn't have a job for 8.5 years, and then I got into the Y.
6-ish. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Ryan, you're on.
So, wow. So when you quit working with the Y, how many hours were you putting in at that point?
On paper, 40.
On paper.
Because they had
Let's
just
go
passed that. They had just passed that law where you had to, if you made less than $50,000 a year, you couldn't be salary anymore. I was salary up to that point. But
that long.
excuse me. Yeah, they passed it a couple years ago, and so on paper I was working 40. In reality, it was probably more 50-ish or so.
So you get to spend a lot of time with the kids now.
Yes.
Definitely involved. Do you see them now? Do you see them too often? Do you ever go, God, I see my kids way too much now?
I probably would feel like that, but my son gets home, hangs out for about half an hour, and then he goes and gets on his computer because he's a big time gamer. So he's always playing some kind of.
You don't have to limit that and check if he's
Minecraft.
checking porno or something out?
No, because you should watch that kid. If you mention a girl around him, he gets all weird and there's like.
How old is he?
He's 12.
Okay. Well,
So
still young.
Yeah. He no, he still thinks that's weird. Actually, the other day I had to.
Icky? I wasn't that way at 12, but that's
I wasn't either. But the other day, actually, we were out buying something for his friend for a birthday party or something, and I needed to buy a new wedding ring because I broke mine. And so I stopped to look at him really quick, and he saw the prices on like engagement rings, and he goes, "Well, there's another reason I'm not getting married. I'm not spending $1 billion on some stupid circle of metal." I was like, "All right."
It seems to, not to change the subject, it seems a different social with kids these days.
Yeah.
Than when I was growing up. I know you're a few years younger, Ryan. That relationships and the opposite sex doesn't seem to be as interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why that is, but
I think for kids like my son, I think for sure a big reason is like I said, he loves to play those video games, and so he's connected to his friends, and they just get online and chat, so they aren't actually out physically in the world outside of school
right
much, and so I think that kind of might play a role in some of that.
I'm sure it does. It has to.
And then there's personality things too. My wife, she had one boyfriend ever.
Really?
And it was a horrible decision because she married the guy, and
wasn't you?
is still stuck with the guy, and just
the guy.
it's part of that.
Whoopsie.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so,
Carrie.
she was she had no interest in dating or boys or anything in high school. That was just her personality.
Sure.
I see the same thing in my daughter,
Wow.
who has no interest in that. She sees
That's
her
not a bad
friends.
thing.
Yeah.
Not at all. She sees her friends go through these dramas and is just like, I want no part of that whatsoever. So,
Interesting.
yeah. So some of that plays a role.
Ryan, your dad, stepdad, and your deal. Is that the same what you see these days?
See, I know with Izzy, there's a lot of, she's a sophomore in high school. She spends more time FaceTiming with her friends, doing homework and stuff than they actually do getting together.
Yeah.
I mean, they all live within a few blocks.
Right.
And, all of the parents shuffle kids around all the time, no problem. But they
Interesting.
would rather sit in their rooms separate and FaceTime.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
it's like, that was complete opposite of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get me out of the house. Let me go.
Yeah.
We were always out and running around, and yeah, my kids are very different. We're a little bit more secluded where we're at.
Right,
too.
right. And see, Ryan and I grew up out in the country too.
Yeah.
So, right,
Yeah.
I mean, so we understand that. But to me, that was, granted, we didn't have this FaceTime. We
Right.
didn't have the computer. We didn't have all this communication, the phones where you could, all that. So that does, I remember, because we're, back in the day, this is how old school, where it was long distance from where you lived to where I lived was long distance.
Yeah.
And yet to Spokane, it wasn't long distance. It was really,
Yeah.
anyway. But all those things, I'm sure the social media and such has made a
Yeah.
huge, huge difference. And I think maybe that would educate the kids because they're online. It's so easy to access the drama and see some of this stuff. But some kids still get drawn into it.
Yeah. And my daughter doesn't have social media at all. So with her, it's just texting with her friends, doing some of the FaceTime while they do homework. Also, like with my daughter too, she's involved in band. So marching band was crazy this last season. She was going on trips where I'm dropping her off at 6:30 in the morning at school and not picking her up until 2 or 3 in the morning the next morning. And now she's doing pep band. So she's playing at basketball games. And then she's got a play that she's involved in. She's running the sound and the lights and
Really?
and doing a bunch of that stuff for the play. So she's at school 3 to 4 days a week until 5 o'clock. I'm going down to pick her up at 5 o'clock every evening.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, she fills herself with enough of those activities. She's in all honors classes.
Show off.
So she's,
Honors.
yeah. So she's, she keeps herself plenty busy, doesn't give herself much time for anything else.
Wow. So, what's the biggest joy about your life right now?
Being there when my kids get off the bus. I did that for,
I loaded that one too. You realize that one,
yeah.
right?
It's kind of a.
It was the softball.
Well, that's the thing. That's one reason I want you back on the show because when we talked a while ago, I said, "So you want to come back? What are you doing these days?" And you let me know that you weren't working, and it was because of the family. So you could be there for the family. And so many people get lost in. Ryan's notorious for this, where he works sometimes way too much.
Yeah.
I was there. Yeah.
And sometimes you got to work to provide, but sometimes you get to the point where you're not enjoying life to provide.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I
And
know for me, I still enjoy putting in those long hours and stuff, but I try to
Balance.
keep them limited. Sometimes I got to put them in, to get the job finished,
Sure.
so we can,
Yeah.
meet a deadline or something. But,
Let's get you out and about so you can socialize and be who you are.
yeah,
I know that's part of it. For me, it's sometimes everything I do, I'm very social. Tim knows that, Ryan knows that, and anybody else that knows him, very social. So that's part of who I am. Sometimes not doing it drives me nuts. So.
And I'm the opposite. I'm super introverted, so I'm totally happy being home and not being out and about.
Yeah, and all the times that whenever we've communicated, when I first met you, you're very social. And
yeah, I can fake it real well.
I think you enjoy coming out, but since you don't have to do it all the time.
Yeah,
That'll be part of it too.
Yeah.
for me, I can go either way. Like I've spent years where, I basically would go fishing on all my off time by myself.
Yeah.
And barely talk to people when I was working and stuff. And then, I've done years where I'm hardly ever alone. I'm always interacting with people and being social and stuff. And I don't hate one or the other. It's just,
Take it as it goes.
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, I think we'll just go fishing for a couple months
Yeah.
and avoid people,
We
Wow.
did, so when we first started at church,
Mhm.
we did all personality tests, and it was there that I actually learned being an extrovert and introvert is so much less how you actually interact with people and how much maybe you enjoy it or don't enjoy it, but really what kind of charges your battery and drains your battery. And
I never got that test.
yeah,
I've taken it.
and yeah,
In church, in
interestingly, yeah, interestingly enough, yeah, like, you know, suddenly a lot of lights kind of went on, and why when I go to work, when I was working for the Y, I was always dealing with the public a lot
Yes,
as a member service rep or as the membership director, or even in youth sports, different things. Made sense why I was so tired and exhausted when I got home after long days and things like that, is because being with people can just drain me, and being alone is what really recharges my batteries. So I've learned over the years through different jobs and working with youth groups and stuff to fake liking social interaction, but
We're doing well here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what he's trying to say is he's really faking it right now.
He's faking it with us. He's faking it with
He's like, you guys are draining the life out of me.
no, see, I've had months to recharge, so we're good. We're good.
like almost 2 years.
It's the real reason he actually quit.
Yeah.
He's like, they're gonna ask me back. I got to start recharging now.
Just get ready. But
Sucking
back to
the
the
life
original
out.
question, what I enjoy most about not working now, though, is as a stay-at-home dad for so many years, I was always there and my kids got off the bus, and that's something that I miss. And that was one of the biggest things I missed. And so,
Do you find it? Do you find you're closer to your wife now again?
yeah, for sure.
More quality time with her, and
Yep. And we've been really good about setting up like date nights again and things like
Wow.
that, getting back into those routines. And
those
Yeah.
are important.
So, is there any aspect that you don't like about being a stay-at-home dad?
Yeah. Anything stand out?
the only thing I could think is maybe
Folding
I
laundry or-
that actually doesn't bother me.
I love folding laundry personally.
The only thing I
Just
can
don't like
think
putting it away.
is feel guilty sometimes, you know, that I'm not bringing something financially into the home.
Wouldn't that be society taught?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what we're taught.
There's a
because
certain
men are
level of guilt
Sure.
that I feel about that from time to time, but
But you're bringing more to the family.
other
right,
ways.
yeah, in other ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the money's minimal compared to the other aspects that you bring to the family.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, there's not many families that have a stay-at-home parent anymore, and
Yeah,
look
it's
at our
getting
world
a lot
right
more
now.
rare.
And I think,
It's,
my personal opinion, that makes a huge difference.
it does.
Yeah. I agree.
And like with growing up for me, you know, it was once I was in high school, it was a little different. But before that, mom would work, but she always made sure she didn't, because she cleaned houses. She would leave the house after we went to school, and she would be home before we got home.
Yeah. My
Yeah,
mom
so-
my mom up through most of high school, same thing. My dad's a truck driver. Fortunately, never over the road, so I wasn't one of those situations where I didn't see my dad 3-4 weeks at a time. He was home every night for dinner and those kind of things. But my mom, you know, when she got jobs, she made sure she was home there. So one of the jobs she had a lot through me going to school was she was a cook for the school district. So she would leave before we would leave for school, but that wasn't until we were old enough to kind of get ourselves ready and out the door. And I'm not a morning person, so I only missed her for maybe 20 minutes while I'm trying to not fall asleep in my bowl of cereal before I walk out the door. And she was off by 1:30 every day. And being off by 1:30 every day meant she was there when we got home from school.
Yeah.
So
There you go. I knew it was going to be a simple. Anything, Ryan? Any more questions for? I got nothing really more. I just think it was important to have different perspective to life and careers, because it is a career though.
Being a stay-at-home dad, was that something that you wanted to do, like from the very beginning when you had kids?
yeah, so that was a discussion with my wife and I when we first had kids. I don't know if it was like a want or a desire, or if it just came out of the discussion when we found out she was pregnant or what. I was this weird kid growing up.
You're still weird. You're just an adult now.
Now I'm a weird guy though. Now I'm a weird guy, not a weird kid. So I'm
On
gonna
the
be,
inside,
I'm
you're
gonna
still
be
a kid.
40 in a couple months. So now it's a weird guy.
God, you're old.
Right? So
To go back.
so as a kid though, I knew the only thing I knew for certain I wanted to do with my life was be a dad, was be a father. I was, from the time I was 13, 14 years old, I was doing nursery with my parents at church.
Wow.
taking care of babies and doing that kind of thing. And then, like I said, one of my jobs was with the school district in this before and after school program. They had a couple preschool aspects of it, and I was always in the preschool.
Really?
Because it was hard to find good males that could work with these young kids.
Yeah.
And so for me, yeah, man, I loved kids. I loved young little kids and that kind of thing. And so my wife and I, when she got pregnant, we talked about it. I had no education beyond high school. She was a nurse. And then she was offered a promotion to this A&M position she's still in, where going back to nights, that shift differential and the pay raise and the promotion was more than my monthly salary.
Wow.
So it was all like, from a lot of those aspects, it was a no-brainer. Plus, then we looked at the experience aspect of me working with babies and kids for so many years. And she would always joke, the youngest person's butt she ever wiped was like 75 because of her nursing job.
Right.
So she didn't really have that experience with babies and things. So just, it all made sense, and it was something I was excited for. So I don't know if I could say always wanted to do it, but I always wanted to be a dad, that's for sure.
So when it comes to like discipline and stuff, do you do all of it, or I know like growing up for me, it was mom was the one that spanked me every single day because I deserved it.
Right.
And then when I got too out of hand, Dad would come home and give me the belt.
Yeah. That's how it was for me growing up, and so it's similar. It's kind of situational for us. If Carrie's there, she's the one that handles it and deals with it. It's in that moment or whatever. Or if I am, it's me. Or if it's something bigger or whatever, it's usually me that'll come in and take care of it.
Deal with it.
But then on the other hand, I'm the softie as well. So it really goes both ways. An example of that one, actually today my son comes home from school and was like, "Mom, can I have an Oreo or two?" And Carrie's like, "Yeah, you can have a couple Oreos or whatever." And he was trying to bargain for a third Oreo. And I was like, "Dude, you should have asked me, not your mom, because I'd have told you to get 5 or 6.
Being a guy.
So so that's where I'm the softie, but at the same time, it's definitely a split thing. But if it's the bigger, heavier discipline, we talk about it, and then I'll be the one to go in and kind of levy the punishment.
Nice. You guys do to communicate obviously pretty well.
For the most part,
yeah.
There are some things.
Sure. You always.
Yeah.
I've heard stories from other. I don't have children of my own, thank goodness for this world. But shut up, Ryan. Why are you gonna laugh so hard? That's not nice. How many children do you have? Way too many.
4 ish.
That I know of. Yeah, just I've heard stories where parents don't always communicate or hide things to do with their children.
Yeah. Oh, we would definitely never hide things for sure. Definitely though, miscommunications happen.
Sure.
Driving my daughter home from one of her band things or whatever last week, and don't forget, I've got this tomorrow and the next day too. What? Well, I told Mom. Yeah, nobody told me. So, and I'm the one that gets to drive you every day.
Right.
But those are,
you
can handle those. Those are minor little ones.
What else you got to do? Come on.
Right.
You check your schedule for the next days? Wait, let me see. I got it. It's you. Never mind.
Hey, every once in a while I go meet friends for lunch.
So, now that I know Tim, we'll do lunch.
Yeah.
See, I know for me, because I'm self-employed, and my wife Carrie, not your Carrie, my Carrie.
Let's clarify which Carrie.
Yeah.
Carrie. Sorry, Carrie.
And she works for a company, but then she also types at home for other doctors. But so there's a lot of times where it's me that's gonna run to the school, pick Izzy up for something or something like that. Do the kids shuffling around. The difference is, it's not that she doesn't remember to tell me. It's just I always forget that she did tell me. Sometimes even when it's the same day.
Right.
She'll tell me as I'm walking out the door, "Don't forget, you got to get Izzy at 3:00 and take her to the orthodontist." And at 2:30, I'm like, "When was the orthodontist appointment?" And they're like, "You better be leaving right now because it's at 3." And it's like, oh yeah, I knew that. I knew that.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Victor, you got anything else?
I don't. I'm just fascinated. Just it's to hear that you guys are able to do it and make a difference. And you knowing, I'm just fascinated by it because I think it's awesome.
Yeah, we're very blessed to be able to do it. That's for sure.
Yeah, and
I'd like to kind of point out that because so many people, especially the much younger generation right now, doesn't feel that there's jobs out there that you can actually have a single parent, you know, working that, you know, and the other one being able to stay at home. That these jobs are still out there.
Yeah.
You know, that is still an option. It's just
And sometimes people are trying to compete with their next door neighbor with what they got. And if they got a new car, I got to have a new car. Whereas you don't need to compete. Just do what's best for yourself and for your family. That's
Absolutely.
us having a Lamborghini doesn't make my kids any better.
Really. Is that
So
yeah? But the
actually
neighbors
probably
are
makes them worse.
So, obviously, that Lamborghini, you hide it well from me too.
Yeah, hid it for myself. I can't even find it. But,
Right.
Yeah. Wow, that's about it. Anything else you'd like to add, Tim? To this was a way easy interview. It's like just what's going on and how's it going on.
Yeah. No. Nothing.
Life's good?
Yeah, life is good. We're
Kids are good. Wife's
super
good.
blessed. Everyone's happy and healthy, and
You guys, your wife's surviving through the COVID excitement.
she is. There's definitely days that are more difficult
Sure.
for her to get up and go to work than other days.
Yeah, that's life.
But
So- Has she got COVID
Yeah.
from work?
so she got COVID,
Like,
and
a lot of people get it outside of work,
Yeah.
you know. But
she got it in October of 2020.
Mm.
Late September, early October, she got it and was pretty sick there for about a week or so. But didn't ever have to go to the hospital or anything like that, you know. And
didn't have to go to work, you
And-
mean?
yeah, didn't have to go to work either to work or as a patient. So
Oh, and you were home at that time, right?
yeah. Well, at that time
Kinda
I was
freshly
working.
home.
I
weren't you?
no, because I didn't quit until just this last September.
Oh,
October.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that
that's
was
right,
2020 that she got sick. But I was home for 2 weeks because
Yeah.
Care of the situation.
my wife, who we had shared a bed the previous night because it was the weekend and she was off work, had
Sure.
COVID. So that's obviously close contact with
Yeah.
somebody with COVID. So I had
And
to
you didn't get
quarantine for no. At the time, we were in a transition from our old manufactured home to the new one we were having put on the place.
Mhm.
And we were living in a camper outside of my in-laws' house because their property is right next to ours. And my in-laws, both my mother and father-in-law, as well as my brother-in-law, both of our kids and myself all came back negative. My wife
That's
was
good.
the only one that tested positive. So we all had a nice little 2-week vacation where we were all stuck in together. And
I actually hear that a lot, where only one person in the house gets it, and
yeah.
everyone else gets to just hang out and watch TV.
Yeah. Well, my kids didn't get to do that. They had all their assignments sent home via Google Docs and all that kind of good stuff. So.
Were they doing?
So at that time they were
back in school? at that
my
time, or-
son was back in school full time because the Meade elementary schools were jumped right back in full time in the fall of 2020. But the junior highs and high schools, my daughter being an 8th grader at that time, she was doing the hybrid. So she was going to class Monday and Wednesday,
Okay.
and every other Friday, and then was doing school from home on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so
Then they got rid of the other every Friday because there was too much confusion.
the people couldn't handle it. So
They say the kids couldn't, and it's like, no, it was
You
the
don't.
parents.
Yeah.
You know, it was the
Yeah.
parents.
yeah.
Kids know if they were in school last Friday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but other than that, she's been good and been healthy and
Good.
yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I got nothing else. I was just enjoying.
All right.
You were hosting. You're being the host. I liked it.
Any last thoughts, comments, anything you want to
We'll
share?
have to have Tim back this summer and check his updates. See how hard it is for him. Not working.
Yeah.
Or
I
wait
might
till the end of summer, you know, when he's had the kids
All
full
summer.
time, all
Right.
summer.
Yeah, that'd be good.
you know.
maybe I might be working by then. Go get a part-time job.
Get me out. Get me out.
Yeah.
There you go.
Getting close to starting driver's ed and stuff.
Yeah. My daughter will be 15 in May, so she can start doing driver's ed, and
We're going through
she's
that
already
right
been
now.
asking about that and
No.
all that fun stuff. So
Izzy discovered that she loves driving when it's snowing.
Wow.
So
Oh.
it's like Star Wars, you know,
Okay.
at night, all the snow's flying
Yeah.
at you. It's like warp speed, you know. It's like-
yeah. My daughter, I think, will be the exact opposite. We, like I said, our properties are right next to my in-laws, so if we ever take a vehicle to drive over to their place, which we could easily just walk up the hill, but sometimes we're got stuff we need to take over there. We're bringing something back or whatever, so we'll take a car. And it's literally, you pull out of our driveway, go up about 30, 40 yards and pull into their driveway on this dirt road that nobody travels. My daughter will not do it without a seatbelt on.
Really?
So she'll be, I think, the opposite of like, no, the conditions aren't perfect, I can't drive. And,
There you go. Alrighty. Tim, appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank
Come
you.
back update
Yeah.
your rough life these days.
Will do. Will do.
Take
All
it
right.
away.
Thank you for watching and listening to Career Paths. Please like, subscribe, share, leave a comment,
Nasty one for Ryan.
leave a review, something.
Tim was great. We suck.
Might be the other way around, but
Oh no, you did good.
Yeah.
People hate us.
With a passion.
Remember, it's your life.
Make it happen.
See you next time. Thanks, guys.
thank you.
That was easy. I knew it would be.
Ashes to ashes.
Okay.
Take 24. La 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 la.
Career Paths